As the carnage continues in Afghanistan, we need to ask if our leaders are in over their heads. Do they have an evacuation plan? Are they even aware of how many Americans are left on the ground?
How many American citizens remain in Afghanistan?
I don't know.
Well, I guess that's a no. But what about our commander-in-chief? Does Joe Biden understand what the Taliban are after?
What happens now in Afghanistan? Do you believe the Taliban have changed?
No. Let me put it this way. I think they're going through sort of an existential crisis about, do they want to be recognized by the international community as being a legitimate government?
An existential crisis, kind of like growing pains. This is the same bloodthirsty militant group we've always known, no matter what their PR push shows. It was funny watching them joyride in bumper cars, but that's not who they are. Oh, by the way, as we mentioned earlier, after they shot that video, they burned down the amusement park. That's the real Taliban. Actually, violence against human beings is the real Taliban. Now, let me bring in Marine Corps combat vet Jesse Kelley and retired Army Ranger and former Obama campaign director Robin Biro. Thank you both for being with me. Jesse, do you have faith that the Taliban has changed? They're going through some existential crisis.
Oh, absolutely, Will. You see, these guys have seen the error of their ways. I mean, by tomorrow, there'll be schools for women in Afghanistan. Honestly, we are a country run by children. Biden, the entire administration, were run by a bunch of academics who've never spent 5 minutes in the actual real world. They went right from the college campus into government somehow. And that's the only way anyone on the planet could be stupid enough to think the Taliban have somehow changed their ways, or they're having a crisis, or they're worried about an economy. You have to have the brain function of a dung beetle like Biden does to actually believe that.
Robin, do you think the Taliban has changed?
No, and they never will. They are in over their head. What President Biden said was basically a polite way of saying that. They don't deserve politeness. The Taliban will never change. I didn't believe for a second when they said that they were going to be kinder to women, because the very next day they arrested and detained the female governor, a female governor there in Afghanistan. You can never take these people for their word. I was nervous when our former president invited them to Camp David. I don't trust them at all.
Well, then, Robin, I have to follow up with, then why is the Biden administration attempting to trust or plead with the Taliban to get the 15,000 Americans behind enemy lines safely to the airport? If everyone on this panel, and in your estimation, Joe Biden as well, agrees that the Taliban cannot be trusted, why are we placing so much trust in the Taliban?
Whatever it takes, Will, to get Americans home safely, American soldiers. It's not going to work with pleading with the Taliban to do this. We're going to have a firm extrication plan. This is on the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretary of Defense. I personally want to see some more from Secretary of State Blinken. Where's he been in all of this?
You know, Jesse, I can't help but be revolted, quite honestly, at the idea that everything we're discussing here was, quote, priced into the calculation. Chaos. Set aside, Jesse, right, how many Black Hawk helicopters, rifles, aircraft, night vision goggles, billions that we've left for them to use or sell. Set that aside, the 15,000 Americans were priced into this chaos?
No, it wasn't priced in, it wasn't planned out, because this administration doesn't do anything really thinking about America. Everything is geared about politics. That's the problem, Will. They knew we had American citizens there. They knew we had thousands of them. We now know there are leaked State Department memos where they told Biden the Taliban are going to take over right away. Biden wanted a cheap political win before September 11th. That's what it was. So they didn't take 5 seconds to think about getting out our civilians, maybe destroying our military equipment so they don't fall into the hands of the people we've spent 20 years fighting. It was all about politics. It's all politics all the time. That's why he's changing the subject now to coronavirus and the infrastructure bill. They only think about politics, never about America, never about Americans. And why aren't our Rangers and our special operators who are over there right now, and our Marines, why aren't they making gun runs out there grabbing our civilians? The French are doing it. The British are doing it. Our guys are chomping at the bit to do it. They're stuck in the airport scratching their rear ends while our citizens are out there running for their lives. This entire administration is a disgrace.
It's a great question why we're not doing that. Robin, you come from the world of politics. You are an Obama campaign advisor. So is Jesse right? Everything that has been done here, all the chaos that has ensued, a byproduct of President Biden choosing political motivations?
No, and I say that because I take him at his word. He said, I'll take that criticism if it means bringing our men and women home alive. As a veteran Army Ranger, I appreciate that. I just want to say, you know, intellectual honesty is important in these times. And that means that we're not going to know what Ranger Regiment's doing because that's secret. We're not going to know what Special Forces is doing because that's secret. They could very well be doing these gun runs. We will not know about it until these soldiers are back home safely.
Jesse, last word to you.
Look, Will, this is a problem we have right now in the entire government. It's not isolated to the Biden administration. Honestly, he owns this, the military owns this, the intelligence community owns this. What I want to see from one person is accountability.
Hear, hear. All right, Robin, Jesse, thank you both for your service, by the way. Army Ranger, Marine on this panel. Thank you both, and thanks for being with me tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.